I'm Sarah Mitchell, 32, standing on the weathered porch of my great-aunt Clara's coastal lodge just outside Portland, Oregon, feeling like a stranger in a sea of polished relatives. It's our annual family meeting, a ritual that's been going strong since the Mitchells carved their name in tech and sustainable energy back in the 90s. The Pacific wind tugs at my plain gray blazer, a thrift store gem that draws sly glances from my cousins, their wrists gleaming with smartwatches that cost more than my monthly rent. My simple silver necklace, a keepsake from Clara, feels like armor against their murmurs. They see me as the poor cousin, scraping by while they parade their wealth. Little do they know what's tucked in my leather satchel today. Picture this: a cedar lodge perched on a cliff, waves pounding below, and a family so obsessed with status they're blind to the empire I've built over 10 years. Stay with me to see how I turned their pity into shock. The Mitchells have been Portland's elite since my great-grandfather, a coder with a vision, turned a garage startup into a tech powerhouse during the dot-com boom. By the time Clara, his younger sister, took a stake in the family business in the early 2000s, our name was synonymous with gleaming office parks and solar farms stretching across the Northwest. Clara stood apart from her brothers, who craved headlines and private jets. She saw wealth as a tool for impact, not a trophy to flaunt. My dad, her favorite nephew, shared her quiet strength. He fell for my mom, a librarian with no family fortune, sparking a scandal among the status-hungry Mitchells. They chose a modest life in a Portland suburb, Dad designing eco-friendly homes, and Mom curating story hours for kids at the local library. They taught me money was for building dreams, not wearing them. When I was 16, a rainy night stole them from me. A car crash on a winding coastal road left me orphaned, my world unraveling like a dropped spool of thread. Clara welcomed me into this lodge, a 3-story sanctuary of cedar beams, stone fireplaces, and windows framing the wild Pacific. While my aunts and uncles whispered I'd be the family's charity case, Clara became my anchor. In her study, lined with books on finance and tide charts, she'd sit with me late into the night. "Sarah," she'd say, her voice steady as the ocean's rhythm, "most of this family's forgotten what wealth's for. They chase flash, but real wealth is invisible. It's freedom, purpose, and the power to shape tomorrow." From 17 to 20, she taught me to spot undervalued assets, read tech market trends, and bide my time. I soaked it up, scribbling notes in journals that still line my bookshelf. My cousins, Evan, Olivia Grant, Derek, Mia, and Cole, grew up in a different world. Their parents, led by my Uncle Paul, the family's self-appointed patriarch, showered them with electric sports cars at 18, winter breaks in Tahoe, and wardrobes straight from Milan. I drove my mom's old Subaru, its paint faded from years of coastal fog, and worked weekends at a coffee shop in Portland's Pearl District. Every spare dollar went into investments Clara helped me choose, small startup hubs and a warehouse in a neighborhood poised for revival. I kept my moves quiet, learning from Clara that the loudest wealth often grows the slowest. When she passed during my final year of college, her death hit like a second loss. She left each grandchild a modest inheritance. My cousins burned theirs on luxury lofts, failed app ventures, or, in Cole's case, a custom motorcycle he crashed within a month. I followed Clara's wisdom, renting a cramped studio in Portland and sinking my inheritance into overlooked properties, a small office space, a startup incubator, and a retail strip in an up-and-coming district. By my 30th birthday, I owned 10 commercial properties and 2 tech hubs, all hidden behind anonymous LLCs set up with the help of Clara's lawyer, Ms. Harper. Last year, I got word that the sleek tech office park where Evan, Olivia Grant, and 2 other cousins worked was up for grabs. The owner, a retiring founder, wanted a quiet sale to avoid rattling tenants. Through a holding company Ms. Harper structured, I bought it for $30 million, nearly every cent I had. I made subtle upgrades, faster Wi-Fi, solar panels, and a green roof, while keeping my ownership a secret. I even raised rents slightly, still below market, to fund better amenities. My cousins grumbled about the changes, never suspecting I was their landlord. Now, as I stand here, I've just learned Uncle Paul plans to sell Clara's lodge, the heart of our family, to a resort developer. This lodge, where I'm watching my cousins compare their latest gadgets, oblivious that the cousin they mock owns the very building where they work. I pull up that Friday afternoon in my Subaru, the gravel drive packed with Teslas, Audis, and Evan's new electric Porsche, parked like a trophy near the steps. I slot my car between Olivia Grant's Lexus and Derek's BMW, its faded blue a stark contrast to their shine. I smooth my blazer, check my minimal makeup in the side mirror, and take a slow breath. The lodge rises ahead, its cedar walls glowing in the late summer sun, wild roses climbing trellises Clara tended with her own hands. This place was my haven after losing my parents, a refuge of warm wood and ocean light. Now it's a battleground where my choices clash with my family's hunger for status. I arrive early, craving a moment to ground myself before the family circus kicks off. Esther, the lodge's caretaker for over 20 years, opens the door before I can knock. "Miss Sarah," she says, pulling me into a hug that smells of lavender and sea salt. "You're the spitting image of Clara these days." I smile, her warmth easing the knot in my chest. "Thanks, Esther. You're still the heart of this place." She leans in, voice low. "Just so you know, Mr. Paul's been here since sunrise, tweaking the meeting schedule with the family lawyer. Big plans for the lodge, I hear." My stomach twists, but I nod, unsurprised. Esther carries my duffel to my old room, unchanged since my teens. Soft green walls, a twin bed with Clara's handmade quilt, and a window seat overlooking the crashing waves. I trace the bookshelf, still holding my finance journals, a dog-eared copy of The Alchemist, and a faded photo of Mom, Dad, and me on Cannon Beach, laughing in the summer haze before everything changed. I unpack slowly, letting the room's quiet steady me. Clara's voice echoes in my mind. "Wealth isn't what you show, Sarah. It's what you build." I cling to that, knowing the fight ahead will test every lesson she gave me. A knock pulls me back. My cousin Mia stands in the doorway, her smile warm. She's the only relative who's ever shown me real kindness, building her own path as a non-profit director despite the family's polish. "I heard you pull up," she says, leaning against the frame. Her tailored jeans and silk blouse scream wealth, but her eyes hold no judgment. "Just a heads up," she says, settling on my bed. Uncle Paul's pushing to sell the lodge this weekend. Developers are circling, and he's got most of the votes lined up. My heart sinks. This place is Clara's soul. She'd hate seeing it turned into some glossy resort. Mia sighs. "I know, but Paul's pitching it as maximizing value. 3 days of meetings, property talks tomorrow, finances Sunday, and vote Monday." I clench my jaw, resolve hardening. "I'm going to fight this, Mia." She squeezes my hand. "I'm with you, but it's an uphill battle." Olivia Grant's already whispering about the struggling cousin who can't keep up. Dinner that night is a parade of excess. Crystal stemware, organic salmon with herb glaze, and conversation crafted to flaunt status. Uncle Paul holds court at the table's head, where Clara once sat, boasting about his latest solar farm deal, sold out before the first panel was laid. Aunt Diane brags about her charity gala, outshining last year's by 200 grand, with a pointed remark that my name wasn't on the donor list. Evan, now a VP in Paul's company thanks to nepotism, steers talk to his Porsche. "Still driving that Subaru, Sarah?" he asks, smirking. I sip my water, steady. Gets me where I need to go. Paul's wife, Patricia, makes a pitying noise. "Sweetie, if you'd let Paul guide your investments, you could live a little bigger." I force a smile. I'm happy with my choices. The digs keep coming. Mentions of exclusive tech summits I don't attend, vacation homes in Bend I don't own, and private schools I couldn't afford if I had kids. I stay calm, holding on to a flicker of hope that when they see the truth, we might find some real connection. After dinner, I escape to Clara's rose garden, now lit by soft solar lanterns she designed herself. Standing among her blooms, their petals catching the moonlight, I vow to protect her legacy, this lodge, her values, and the quiet strength she instilled in me. Tomorrow, the meeting begins, and with it, my chance to start shaking their world. I'm not the poor cousin they think I am. I'm Sarah Mitchell, and I've been building something they can't ignore. The morning sun spills through the lodge's tall windows, painting the conference room in shades of gold. I sit at the edge of a long oak table, my leather satchel resting like a silent ally by my chair. The air hums with anticipation, the kind that comes before a storm. Today's the first day of our family meeting, and Uncle Paul's about to lay out his plan to sell Clara's lodge, this cliffside haven that's held our family's heart for decades. My cousins chatter, their voices sharp with excitement over stock options and yacht rentals, while I clutch a mug of black coffee, steeling myself for the fight. I'm Sarah Mitchell, the cousin they pity, the one they think can't keep up. But I've got secrets they can't imagine, and today I'll start pushing back. Clara's voice echoes in my mind. Stand tall, Sarah. Wealth isn't what you wear, it's what you defend. The room's a blend of old and new, cedar walls meeting sleek tablets and a digital projector Uncle Paul's assistant fusses over. Family photos that once lined these walls are gone, replaced by glossy renderings of glass-walled resorts, their sterile shine a betrayal of Clara's warmth. My cousins settle into cushioned chairs, their tailored suits and designer scarves screaming wealth. Evan adjusts his cufflinks, engraved with the Mitchell crest. Olivia Grant scrolls her phone, probably pricing private jets. Derek and Cole trade boasts about their latest startup pitches, while Mia, my only ally, offers me a quiet nod from across the table. Uncle Paul stands at the room's front, his silver hair catching the light, exuding the confidence of a man who's never been challenged. His assistant hands out agendas, and I scan mine, heart sinking. The first item, Lodge Redevelopment Proposal. Paul clears his throat, silencing the room. Welcome to our annual gathering, he says, his voice smooth as polished stone. The Mitchell name stands for innovation, progress, and prestige. Today we'll discuss how to elevate that legacy. He clicks the projector, and an image of Clara's lodge fills the screen, its cedar glow replaced by a digital mock-up of a sprawling resort. Infinity pools, rooftop bars, and condos priced for billionaires. This property, he says, gesturing grandly, sits on 6 acres of prime coastal land, valued at $50 million. It's time we unlock its potential. Aunt Diane, in a silk blazer, nods vigorously. Resort development is the future, she says. Imagine the Mitchell brand on a destination that draws global elites. My stomach churns. This lodge isn't just land. It's Clara's soul, her vision of family unity and quiet strength. I glance at Mia, whose jaw is tight. She knows what this place meant to Clara, how it anchored me after my parents were gone. Paul drones on, detailing projected returns. Hundreds of millions over a decade, he claims, passing out brochures from Coastal Horizon Group, the developers circling like vultures. Evan flips through his, grinning. This'll put us on the map, he says, bigger than Dad's solar deals. Olivia Grant chimes in, her voice sharp. Plus, the branding opportunities Mitchell Resort could franchise. I grip my mug, the heat biting my palms. They're talking about erasing Clara's legacy like it's a line item on a spreadsheet. Paul's assistant distributes financial models, and I scan the numbers. The payouts are weighted by family shares, meaning Paul, with his 40% stake, stands to gain $20 million. My 2% would net me a fraction, a detail that stings less than the thought of losing this place. Before Paul can move to questions, I raise my hand. My voice is steady, though my pulse races. I'd like to propose an alternative, I say, standing to face the room. This lodge is more than real estate. It's our history, Clara's vision of family unity. What if we preserved it as a community hub, a space for tech education, sustainability programs, or something that honors her values? The room goes quiet, but not the good kind. Evan snorts, leaning back in his chair. A community hub? Sarah, that's sweet, but this is prime land, not a charity project. Olivia Grant rolls her eyes. Clara's values were great for her time, but we're in a global market now. Sentimentality doesn't pay dividends. I press on, ignoring the heat creeping up my neck. I've researched the area's trends. Historic properties like this gain value when preserved, not razed. A hub could draw grants, local support, even corporate partnerships. Derek cuts me off, his smirk sharp. Researched? What, on your library's free Wi-Fi? The room ripples with laughter, and my cheeks burn. Cole piles on, leaning forward. No offense, Sarah, but you're still renting that shoebox in the Pearl District, right? What do you know about high-stakes real estate? I clench my fists under the table but keep my tone even. My choices don't reflect my knowledge, I say. Clara taught me to prioritize long-term value over short-term flash. Paul raises a hand, his smile tight. While I appreciate your passion, Sarah, the market's moved beyond Clara's era. Preservation sounds noble, but it's not practical. Aunt Diane adds, her voice dripping with pity. Dear, with your limited experience, maybe leave these decisions to those of us managing real portfolios. The condescension stings, but I'm not done. I've seen projects like the Bayside Resort, I say, citing a local flop. Overbuilt, half-empty, and bleeding cash. This coast doesn't need another playground for the ultra-rich. It needs something sustainable, rooted in community. Evan laughs outright. Sustainable? You sound like one of those hippie startups we passed on last year. Stick to your coffee shop job, cousin. The laughter swells, and I feel the weight of their dismissal, a familiar ache from years of being the outsider. Mia speaks up, her voice firm. Sarah's got a point. Clara wanted this lodge to unite us, not divide us for profit. But her words are drowned out by Paul's call for a preliminary vote. Let's gauge support for the resort concept, he says. Hands shoot up. Paul, Diane, Evan, Olivia Grant, Derek, Cole, and their spouses. Only Mia and I keep ours down, our votes a whisper against their roar. As we break for lunch, I slip outside to the cliffside path, the ocean's roar matching the storm in my chest. I've faced their mockery before, but today's different. They're not just dismissing me, they're dismantling Clara's legacy piece by piece. I lean against a weathered railing, the salt air sharp in my lungs. Clara used to walk this path with me, pointing out tide pools and talking about patient investing. Wait for the right moment, she'd say. The world rewards those who build, not those who boast. I touch the silver necklace she gave me, its cool weight grounding me. I'm not just fighting for the lodge, I'm fighting for her, for the girl I was when she believed in me. My satchel holds the truth of my empire, the office park where Evan and Olivia Grant work, bought with years of quiet moves. But revealing it now feels too soon. I need to bide my time, just like Clara taught me. Back inside, lunch is a blur of organic kale salads and chatter about crypto gains. Olivia Grant corners me by the buffet, her smile all teeth. Sarah, I hope you're not taking the vote personally. It's just business. I nod, swallowing a retort. It's not just business when it's Clara's home, I want to say. Instead, I murmur, we'll see how it plays out. She pats my arm, like I'm a child who doesn't get it, and saunters off. Mia finds me later, her eyes worried. That was brutal in there, she says, handing me a glass of sparkling water. Are you okay? I force a smile. I've dealt with worse. But it hurts, Mia. They don't even try to see me. She nods, understanding. They're blind to anything that doesn't shine. But you're playing a different game. Keep at it. I've got your back. Her words are a lifeline, but the morning's wounds linger, raw and deep. As we head back for the afternoon session, Paul announces a shift. We'll review family branding, he says, and how the Mitchell name projects power. He clicks through slides of sleek logos on skyscrapers, our name plastered on everything from drones to wind turbines. Image is everything, LK, viewed by millions. The subtext is clear. I'm the weak link, the cousin who doesn't measure up. Paul wraps up with a teaser for tomorrow. We'll dive into personal finances, he says, a chance to showcase who's driving our legacy forward. His eyes flick to me, and I know what's coming. A stage for them to flaunt their wealth and bury me deeper. I end the day in Clara's garden, the roses glowing under twilight. The vote, the laughter, the pity, they cut deeper than I expected. I've told myself for years their opinions don't matter, that my empire's enough. But being seen as less, as nothing, still burns. I sit on a stone bench, Clara's favorite, and whisper to the stars. I'm not giving up, Clara. This lodge, your lessons, they're worth fighting for. Tomorrow I'll face their spotlight, and soon I'll show them who I really am. The ocean roars below, a reminder that some forces build slowly, then crash with unstoppable power. I'm ready for the next wave. A pale dawn creeps over the lodge, the ocean's soft churn a quiet companion as I sit in the conference room, my leather satchel a steadfast friend by my side. I'm Sarah Mitchell, and yesterday's battle, Uncle Paul's push to sell Clara's lodge for a resort, my cousin's sharp laughter at my plea to save it, left scars that pulse with every heartbeat. Today, the family turns to personal finances, a showcase where each Mitchell struts their wealth, their status, and their worth. For me, it's a gauntlet, a moment where their pity will sharpen into blades. They see me as the cousin who can't measure up, scraping by in a world of their splendor. But I carry a truth they can't grasp, an empire built in silence, and their every jab strengthens my vow to defend Clara's vision. I'm here to endure, to wait, because soon I'll shatter their story of me. The room's a stage of polished oak and ambition, the table strewn with sleek devices and leather folders stamped with the Mitchell crest. My cousins are in their element, their chatter alive with tales of market wins and exclusive retreats. Evan adjusts his smartwatch, its glow a badge of success. Olivia Grant smooths her silk scarf, scrolling through deal alerts. Derek and Cole swap stories of venture capital coups, their laughter loud and careless. Mia, my one true ally, sits opposite, her steady gaze a beacon in this storm of ego. Uncle Paul commands the head of the table, his crisp shirt a quiet boast of control. He opens with a speech on legacy, his voice a practiced cadence. Our family's power is in our progress, he says, scanning the room. Today we reveal who's shaping our future. His eyes flick to me, a fleeting challenge, and I feel the pressure to shrink, to fade. I won't. Paul's assistant hands out asset summaries, each page a stark map of our declared wealth and voting power. Mine shows a sliver, 2%, tied to a modest consulting income and Clara's small bequest, hiding the millions I've woven in secret. Paul unveils a new feature, a projected chart tracking our wealth growth over half a decade, a public measure of our worth. My stomach knots, knowing my line will be a faint mark, a signal for their scorn. He calls Evan first, who strides forward, his presence bold. His slides flash bonuses from Paul's firm, a blockchain fund up fourfold, and a loft in Portland's tech district, with views of the Willamette. Sealed the deal last spring, he says, smirking. Private gym concierge? Aunt Diane probes the designer. Cole asks about resale value, their voices warm with praise. Olivia Grant follows, her delivery sharp and showy. She outlines her fintech startup's valuation, a stake in a Hood River orchard, and a sailboat moored in Astoria. Perfect for client dinners, she says. Derek boasts of his machine learning investments, each chart a testament to 8-figure gains. Cole, ever flashy, details his condo in Bend, bought pre-construction for a song. Their words weave a tapestry of triumph, each applauded, questioned, celebrated, a ritual that binds them as I sit apart. My sweater, a second-hand find, feels like a flag of difference against their tailored elegance, and Clara's words hum in my mind. True wealth is what you create, Sarah, not what you display. I hold that close, but the room's hunger for status presses in, a weight I can't shake. Talk turns to the tech office park where Evan, Olivia Grant, and others work, my property, though they're clueless. Derek leans in, voice tight. The new owners are insufferable, he says. They're retrofitting the lighting. LEDs, fine, but the work's disruptive during pitches. Olivia Grant nods, her eyes narrow. And the entry system? Keycard scans now, like we're in a fortress. Evan adds, they jacked up the lease last month. Not much, but it's cheeky. Who do they think we are? I keep my expression blank, though my heart pounds. Those changes, energy-efficient lights, secure access, were my orders, boosting the park's value by 10%. The lease bump funded a tenant lounge with local art. They're railing against my decisions, blind to the truth that their landlord's sitting right here. Paul steeples his fingers, voice measured. Odd that the owner's identity is so murky, he says. It sold last year to Horizon Partners, nested under some offshore entity. We should investigate. With the Mitchells as key tenants, we hold sway. A sale could be in our interest. Aunt Diane smiles slyly. A word to the Planning Commission could slow their next permits. Red tape's a powerful tool. Cole grins, predatory. Or we flag some code issues. I know a guy in inspections who'd dig deep for us. Fury coils in my chest at their brazen plan to strong-arm the owner, me, using connections to bend rules. It's the entitlement Clara loathed, wielding power to seize rather than build. I want to leap up, reveal everything, but her voice steadies me. Wait, Sarah. Timing is your strength. I swallow hard, biding my time. My turn arrives late, the room's focus waning as I step forward. I share a pared-down update, consulting projects, minor stock gains, keeping my empire veiled. My voice is even, but inside I brace for impact. Paul taps his pen, barely engaged. Olivia Grant murmurs to Derek, her giggle cutting through. Aunt Diane breaks in, her tone heavy with concern. Sarah, it's tough seeing you lag so far behind. The Mitchell name should lift you, yet you're stuck in this modest rut. The room quiets, eyes on me. Evan leans back, grinning. Still in that closet you call an apartment, Sarah? What's your hustle? Data entry. Laughter erupts, a sharp edge that slices deep and my throat tightens. My life's not a rut, I say, voice firm. I choose my path deliberately. Cole scoffs. Deliberately? Like choosing to wear hand-me-downs while we're signing 9-figure contracts? The laughter grows, a wave that drowns my resolve. Paul shifts, his voice paternal but cold. We might consider a family fund, he says, not meeting my gaze. A monthly allowance to help you uphold our standards. The offer, that I need their scraps when my wealth outstrips most of theirs, hits like a fist. I sit, hands clenched, fighting the urge to fling open my satchel and lay bare the truth. Years of guarding my secret hold me steady, but the shame burns, a fire fed by their blindness. They've painted me as a failure, a footnote without ever asking what I've built. I'm more than their scorn, and tomorrow I'll start showing them. After the session, I retreat to the lodge's library, a haven of leather-bound books and sea-damp air. I curl into a chair by a fogged window, the ocean's rhythm a faint pulse beyond. The day's blows, Olivia Grant's giggle, Paul's offer, the room's laughter, cut deeper than I expected. I trace Clara's silver necklace, its weight a tether, and let tears slip. Not for money, but for the family I hoped might see me, might care. I whisper to the quiet, Clara, they're erasing you, but I'll fight for this lodge, for us. My satchel holds the proof, titles, valuations, and the office park deed. I call Ms. Harper, my lawyer, from the library's hush. They're scheming to strong-arm the office park owner, I say, voice low. And the lodge sale's set for tomorrow. She laughs softly. They're in for a shock, Sarah. Valuations? And the full portfolio sent? Yes, I say, and set up Clara's Vision Trust to buy the lodge before Paul's deal closes. She pauses. You're ready to show them? I nod to the empty room. I'm ready. I'm done hiding. The library's shadows wrap around me, Clara's presence in every spine, every creak. Their words today weren't just cruel, they were a challenge, and I'm answering. The office park, the lodge, my empire, they're not just assets, they're Clara's lessons made real. Tomorrow's the final day, the vote, the moment I shift the tide. The ocean whispers beyond, a reminder that the strongest currents gather unseen before they surge. I'm that current, ready to break free. A cool dawn wraps the lodge in a soft haze, the ocean's steady pulse echoing my racing heart. I'm Sarah Mitchell, standing on the lodge's cliffside porch, gripping the weathered rail as I brace for the final day of our family meeting. Yesterday's ordeal, Uncle Paul's patronizing stipend offer, my cousin's cruel laughter during my financial update, their brazen plot to strong-arm the tech office park's owner, has hardened my resolve. They see me as the cousin who's fallen behind, a dim spark in their blazing world. But my leather satchel, slung over my shoulder, holds a truth that'll shatter their illusions. Today, I'll unveil the empire I've built in secret, starting with the contract that proves I'm no one's pity case. Clara's voice whispers through the salt air. Show them, Sarah. Wealth isn't what you flaunt. It's what you wield. I'm ready to wield it all. I dress with quiet intent, choosing a simple black blazer over a cream blouse, a thrift store find polished by careful tailoring. Clara's silver necklace rests against my collarbone, its gentle weight a reminder of her faith in me. In the bathroom mirror, I apply a touch of rose lipstick, a bold choice that feels like armor. I'm not the girl they've mocked for years. I'm a woman who's outplayed them at their own game. My satchel brims with Ms. Harper's overnight package, my complete portfolio, the office park deed, and documents for Clara's Vision Trust, finalized at midnight to block Paul's resort deal. I spread the papers across a porch table, the sea breeze ruffling their edges. Each sheet maps a decade of calculated moves, 10 commercial properties, 2 startup hubs, and the office park where my cousins work, blind to their landlord's identity. The trust's formation, a stroke of genius from Ms. Harper, gives me voting power to save this lodge, Clara's heart. I linger on the office park contract, its crisp text a testament to my $30 million gamble. Evan's complaints about lease hikes, Olivia Grant's gripes over new security systems. They're railing against my decisions, never dreaming I'm the one they're cursing. I stack the documents neatly, my hands steady despite the storm inside. Clara used to stand here watching the horizon, telling me patience wins where pride falters. Today, I'll honor that lesson, not for their approval, but for her, for the legacy they're trying to erase. The lodge hums behind me, its cedar walls alive with memories of Clara's laughter, her lessons, and her love. I won't let it fall to developers' cranes. Inside, the conference room crackles with endgame energy, the oak table a battlefield of sleek folders and glowing screens. My cousins are in rare form, their voices bright with victory. Evan brags about a Tokyo Tech Summit. Olivia Grant flashes a new emerald ring from a Milan jeweler, and Derek boasts of a blockchain deal set to close next week. Cole, loud as ever, recounts a Maui villa tour, perfect for investor retreats. Mia's quiet smile across the table is my anchor, her support unspoken but fierce. Uncle Paul stands at the helm, his silk tie a quiet flex of power, ready to lock in the lodge's sail. His assistant distributes developer contracts from Coastal Horizon Group, each page detailing a $55 million deal, payouts skewed by shares. My 2% glares from the sheet, a cruel underscore of their blindness to my strength. Paul opens with a rallying cry. Today, we shape our destiny, he says, his voice a polished blade. We'll sign the lodge deal and resolve the office park matter. Let's build the Mitchell empire. Before he proceeds, he unveils a final jab, a wealth growth chart, refreshed with yesterday's data, projected for all to judge. My name hovers at the bottom, a faint line dwarfed by Paul's soaring peak, Evan's sharp ascent, and Olivia Grant's steep curve. The room snickers, their amusement a familiar blade. Paul's tone is cool. Some have seized our legacy's promise more than others, he says, eyes flicking to me. The dig stings, but I sit tall, my satchel a silent vow of what's to come. The office park talk resurfaces, their frustration now a fever. Derek scowls. The owner's out of touch. They're installing solar shades, great, but the drilling's killing our demos. Olivia Grant snaps, and the new Wi-Fi? Overkill. My team's Zoom calls don't need that bandwidth. Evan adds, the lease bump last quarter was a slap. We're premium tenants. They should grovel. Paul leans forward, voice low. My contacts traced the sale to Apex Ventures, hidden in a web of shells. With our leverage, we can force a deal. Diane smirks. A few permit delays could nudge them. My friend at City Planning owes me. Cole laughs, or we flag some tax quirks. The assessor's office loves a tip. My pulse roars at their plan to bully me. Their landlord, with backroom tactics. The kind Clara called theft, dressed in suits. I clutch my satchel, the truth burning to break free, but her wisdom steadies me. Strike when the iron's hottest, Sarah. Paul shifts to the lodge, urging signatures on the contracts. The offer's final, he says, $55 million demolition next spring. Before he calls for pens, I stand, heart thundering. I'd like to present something first, I say, voice ringing clear. Paul sighs, glancing at his watch. Sarah, we're pressed for time. The developers need this by midday. It won't take long, I say, moving to the room's front without his blessing, my nerve surprising even Mia. Olivia Grant mutters, loud enough for all, what's she got? A budget spreadsheet from her barista gig? The room chuckles and my cheeks flush, but I hold my ground, Clara's necklace a cool pulse at my throat. I face them, satchel open, their eyes a mix of boredom and pity. You've judged me for years, I begin, voice steady despite the tremor inside. My clothes, my home, my life. You've called me poor, assumed I'm failing. I've let you because I was crafting something you couldn't see. The room stirs, a flicker of unease. Evan scoffs, but Paul's eyes narrow, sensing a shift. I pull out my portfolio's valuation, a $78 million empire, and hand it to Paul's assistant. Show this, I say. The screen lights up, my wealth a towering bar outstripping most of theirs. Gasps ripple, silence heavy as stone. Derek sputters, that's a mistake. No way. I smile, sharp and calm. No mistake. While you bought yachts and villas, I built an empire, Clara's way, with purpose, not flash. I distribute my financial summary, pages listing 10 commercial properties, 2 tech hubs, and the office park. Olivia Grant's eyes widen, Evan's pen drops, and Cole stares, stunned. Aunt Diane whispers, but your apartment? How? Choice. The choice, not need, I say. Clara taught me wealth grows when you invest, not when you show. Paul's face tightens, voice strained. This scope, without our connections? I meet his gaze. With Clara's lessons, value over ego, patience over pride. I draw the office park contract, placing it before Evan, whose complaints still linger. And about your landlord troubles, I say, voice rising. The upgrades you despise, solar shades, Wi-Fi boosts, lease tweaks, those were my orders. I own the park. The room explodes. Olivia Grant gasps. Derek chokes on his water and Evan stammers. You? Impossible. Paul's voice slices through, hard. You acquired that property? It was $30 million. I nod, relishing their shock. 30 precisely, built legally and strategically over a decade. I face the room, calm but fierce. When you schemed to strong-arm the owner with city tricks, you were targeting me, your cousin, your landlord. Their faces freeze, a gallery of disbelief and shame. Mia's grin shines, her pride a quiet fire. I pause, letting the truth sink in, Clara's strength flowing through me. I'm not here to boast, I say. I'm here to save Clara's lodge, her true legacy. Paul rallies, voice cold. Your wealth doesn't shift the vote. My 40% seals the deal. I lay down the trust papers. Think again, I say. Clara's Vision Trust, formed today, holds my assets and acquired Apex Ventures' 30% of Mitchell shares. My 35% blocks your sale. The room falls silent, a seismic pause, their world reshaped. I sit, heart pounding but sure, Clara's necklace alive with her spirit. I've shown the contract, drawn my line, and claimed my truth. Not for their love, but for Clara. For me. The fight's not done, but I'm no longer their footnote. I'm Sarah Mitchell, and they'll remember this day. The conference room feels like a storm's eye, the air thick with stunned silence after my bombshell. I'm Sarah Mitchell, sitting at the oak table, my leather satchel now light, but my heart heavy with purpose. Moments ago, I flipped their world upside down, revealing my $78 million empire, my ownership of the tech office park where my cousins work, and my 35% voting power through Clara's Vision Trust, enough to block Uncle Paul's plan to sell our lodge for a resort. Their faces, Evan's red with fury, Olivia Grant's frozen in shock, Paul's tight with calculation, are a map of a family unmoored. They called me poor, a failure for years. Now they're grappling with the truth, and it's unraveling them. Clara's spirit lingers in the cedar-scented room. Hold steady, Sarah. Wealth is what you protect, not what you parade. I'm here to protect her legacy no matter what comes next. The silence shatters as Evan slams his fist on the table, his voice raw. This is a stunt, Sarah. You can't just waltz in and hijack our legacy with some shady trust. His words sting, but I meet his glare, calm. No stunt, Evan, just strategy. Clara's strategy, the kind you never bothered to learn. Olivia Grant recovers, her voice sharp as glass. You've been lying to us, she says, clutching my financial summary like it's evidence. Pretending to struggle while you, laughed behind our backs? I shake my head, even my voice. I didn't pretend. I lived my truth, quietly, while you built stories about me. Derek leans forward, eyes narrow. And the office park? You let us complain, knowing you were the one screwing us with lease hikes? I correct him firmly. Not screwing you, improving the property. Solar shades and secure entries, those raised its value 10%. You just didn't care to notice. Paul raises a hand, his composure a thin mask. Let's keep this civil, he says, though his eyes betray panic. Sarah, your achievements are unexpected, but they don't change our structure. The lodge sale was voted on, my 40%, I cut in, voice steady. Your 40% meets my 35%, Paul. The trust's shares, acquired legally through Apex Ventures, give me veto power. The sale's dead. His jaw tightens, and the room erupts. Cole shouts, You can't override decades of our work. Aunt Diane gasps, How dare you disrupt our plans with this deception? Mia, my ally, speaks up, her voice clear. She's not disrupting. She's defending Clara's vision, something we've all ignored. Her words are drowned by Evan's sneer. Defending? She's grabbing power, playing us for fools. The chaos swirls, but I sit tall, Clara's necklace a quiet anchor at my throat. Their anger, their shock, it's not about the lodge or my wealth. It's about their pride, cracked open by the cousin they dismissed. Paul tries to regain control, his tone shifting to strategy. Let's discuss collaboration, Sarah. Your assets could align with our goals. Perhaps a joint venture on the resort. His olive branch is laced with strings, a bid to pull me into his orbit. I smile, cool. Collaboration sounds nice, Paul, but only if it honors Clara's values. Stewardship, not status. He blinks, unaccustomed to resistance. Diane chimes in, her voice syrupy. Dear, you're new to this level of wealth. Let us guide you, join our foundation board, learn the ropes. Her offer drips with condescension, as if my empire's a fluke. I decline, polite but firm. I've learned plenty, Diane. Clara was my guide. Evan shifts tactics, his voice low and menacing. You think you can waltz in, wave some papers, and run the show? We'll challenge the trust's legality. My lawyer's already texting. Those proxy purchases sound shaky. I meet his threat with calm, years of Clara's lessons steadying me. Challenge away, Evan. Ms. Harper's documents are ironclad, filed with state regulators. You'll find no cracks. Olivia Grant piles on, her eyes flashing. And the office park? You can't manage that scale. Sell it to us. Let real players handle it. I laugh, soft but sharp. Real players? You didn't even know your landlord. I've grown that property's value while you whined about Wi-Fi. Their faces flush, their arguments faltering against my quiet strength. Paul pivots, sensing the room's tide turning. Let's address the lodge practically, he says. Your trust's veto stalls us, but the property's a burden, maintenance, taxes. Why cling to sentiment when we could profit? I lean forward, voice fierce. This lodge isn't a burden. It's our root, Clara's heart. She wanted it to unite us, to stand for more than profit. I propose turning it into Clara's Vision Center. Tech training, green energy workshops, and a hub for community impact. The room scoffs, but Mia nods, her eyes bright. That's what Clara would have wanted, she says. Diane rolls her eyes. Community impact? Sarah, that's noble, but it won't sustain our brand. Cole snorts. Yeah, what's next? Free coding camps for kids. I nod, unflinching. Exactly, Cole. Kids like my mom, who never had a shot at your world. Their mockery flares anew, but it's weaker now, tinged with unease. Evan mutters, She's delusional, thinking she can rewrite our rules. Olivia Grant whispers to Derek, loud enough for me. She'll crash and burn. Too much money, too little sense. I let their words wash over me. Clara's teaching's a shield. They're not fighting me. They're fighting the mirror I've held up, showing their hollow chase for status. Paul calls for a recess, his voice strained. We'll reconvene in an hour to finalize next steps, he says, shooting me a look that's half respect, half wariness. As they scatter, Mia rushes to me, her hug warm. You were incredible, she says. Clara's smiling somewhere. I smile, throat tight. I felt her, Mia. But they're not done fighting. She nods, fierce. Neither are you. I slip outside to the lodge's bluff. The ocean's roar a balm for my raw nerves. The morning's clash, Evan's threats, Olivia Grant's barbs, Paul's maneuvering, has left me shaken but unbroken. I touch Clara's necklace, its silver warm from my skin, and whisper, I did it, Clara. I showed them. The wind carries my words, and I feel her pride, a quiet pulse in the salt air. My satchel, now empty of secrets, feels like a new beginning. I'm no longer the cousin they pity, but I'm not their savior either. I'm Sarah, carrying Clara's torch, ready to defend this lodge against their greed. I call Ms. Harper from the bluff, the waves a steady backdrop. They're rattled, I say, voice low. Evan's threatening legal action, Paul's pushing collaboration. She chuckles, calm. Let them try. The trust's bulletproof, and your ownership's untouchable. Ready for phase 2, securing the lodge? I nod, resolute. Send the purchase offer through the trust. I want it locked before Paul regroups. Back inside, lunch is tense, the dining room a stage of forced smiles and sidelong glances. Evan avoids me, typing furiously on his phone, likely to his lawyer. Olivia Grant corners me by the dessert table, her tone saccharine. Sarah, that was dramatic, she says. But let's be real. You need allies. Join our investment group. We'll make you shine. Her offer's a trap, a bid to control my wealth. I decline, gently but firmly. I shine fine on my own, Olivia Grant. Thanks. She flinches, unaccustomed to my spine. Diane tries next, inviting me to her country club for mentorship, as if I haven't outbuilt her portfolio. I sidestep, keeping my distance. Their sudden kindness is as hollow as their old scorn, and I'm learning to trust only those who saw me before. Mia, Esther, and Clara's memory. As we return to the conference room, Paul announces a shift. Given Sarah's developments, he says, we'll discuss restructuring our voting shares. His words are a veiled counterstrike, a bid to dilute my trust's power. Evan jumps in, voice smug. And we'll audit those proxy purchases. Something smells off. I meet his challenge, voice clear. Audit all you want, Evan. My moves are clean, unlike your plan to bully the office park owner. The room tenses, their guilt a palpable weight. I stand, addressing them all. This lodge stays, I say. Clara's Vision Center will rise here, not your resort. You can fight me, but I'm not backing down. Clara built this family on purpose, not profit, and I'm her heir in that, if nothing else. The room's silence is different now, not shock, but a grudging pause, a crack in their armor. Paul's eyes narrow, calculating his next move. Mia's smile is a quiet victory, Esther's nod from the doorway a warm echo of Clara's pride. I sit, heart steady, the ocean's pulse beyond the windows a reminder of my own. I've shaken their world, but the war's not won. They'll push back, scheme, and resist. But I'm Sarah Mitchell, no longer their shadow, ready to guard Clara's legacy with every ounce of my strength. The tide's turned, and I'm its current, unstoppable. A gentle autumn breeze sweeps through the lodge's open windows, carrying the scent of pine and salt as I stand in what was once Clara's dining room, now a blueprint-strewn hub for my dream. I'm Sarah Mitchell, 6 months past the family meeting that changed everything. Back then, I shattered their image of me as the poor cousin, revealing my $78 million empire, my ownership of the tech office park, and my voting power through Clara's Vision Trust to save this lodge from becoming a resort. The shock still ripples through my family. Evan's anger, Paul's scheming, Olivia Grant's forced smiles. Now I'm turning this cedar sanctuary into Clara's Vision Center, a beacon for tech education and green energy, but the fight's far from over. Some relatives plot to pull me down, others circle for gain, yet Clara's spirit guides me. Build, Sarah. Wealth is what you give, not what you grasp. I'm building her legacy, and no one will stop me. The lodge hums with new life, its halls echoing with contractors' voices and the hum of drills. I'm overseeing plans to convert the ballroom into a coding lab, the library into a sustainability workshop, and the gardens into a solar-powered learning space. My desk, a salvaged oak slab, holds sketches of community programs, free coding boot camps for local youth and green tech seminars for small businesses. I've hired a team, funded by my portfolio, to make Clara's dream real. Yesterday, we hosted our first tour for Portland's community leaders, their awe at the lodge's transformation, a quiet victory. A local teacher, eyes bright, said, "This could change lives for kids like mine." Her words hit deep, echoing my mom's work as a librarian, giving kids a shot at more. I touch Clara's necklace, its silver a steady pulse, and feel her pride in this work. But my family's not done fighting. Last week, Uncle Paul called a shareholder meeting, pushing to amend our voting structure to curb my trust's power. His email, cloaked in corporate jargon, was clear. My 35% veto threatens his control. Evan backed him, filing a frivolous challenge to my proxy purchases, claiming murky ethics. Ms. Harper, my lawyer, shut it down, her filings airtight, but the legal fees sting, a reminder of their relentless pride. Olivia Grant's taken a softer tack, inviting me to her tech gala, all smiles and sisterly warmth. "You're a star now, Sarah," she texted. "Let's shine together." Her sudden kindness reeks of strategy, a bid to tap my wealth for her ventures. I declined, polite but distant, learning to guard my heart against their shifts. Only Mia remains true, her nonprofit partnering with my center, her belief in me a constant light. Today, I'm meeting Paul at a downtown Portland cafe, his request framed as a peace talk. The cafe's warm, its walls lined with local art, but tension crackles as he sits across from me, his coffee untouched. "Sarah," he says, his voice smooth but guarded, "your center's ambitious, but it's straining family unity. Let's align, perhaps fund a Mitchell-branded tech hub instead, under our oversight. His offer's a leash, a way to pull my work into his orbit." I sip my latte, steady. Unity's a fine word, Paul, but Clara's vision was about impact, not branding. My center stays independent. His smile tightens. "You're new to this scale," he says. "Our network could elevate you, join my board, learn our ways." I shake my head firmly. "I've learned plenty, Paul. Clara's ways suit me better." He leans back, eyes calculating, and I know he's not done scheming. Back at the lodge, Evan's latest jab arrives, a snide email to our family list, questioning my center's viability. Community handouts won't sustain the Mitchell name, he writes. We need prestige, not charity. I grit my teeth, tempted to reply with my office park's 15% value spike, driven by my upgrades he once mocked. Instead, I forward it to Ms. Harper, asking for a tenant report to counter his noise. The data's clear. My park's retention rate's up thanks to my green retrofits, while Evan's team thrives in spaces I've improved. I let the numbers speak, saving my voice for bigger fights. Diane tries her hand next, cornering me during a site visit. Your passion's sweet, Sarah, she says, her perfume sharp, but this lodge could still be a resort. Rethink it. Join our investment pool. Secure your future. Her maternal act falters under my gaze. My future's secure, Diane, I say. Clara's center is my investment. The pushback wears on me, a steady drip of doubt. Late at night, in the lodge's quiet study, I sit with Clara's old journals, their pages yellowed but alive with her wisdom. Wealth is a tool, Sarah, not a crown, she wrote. Use it to lift, not to lord. Her words soothe the ache of my family's resistance, their refusal to see me beyond their old labels. I've carried their scorn too long, and though my wealth is no secret now, their judgment lingers, a shadow I'm learning to step through. I call Mia. Her voice is a balm over the phone. They're circling like sharks, I say, half laughing, half raw. She chuckles, warm. Sharks don't scare you, Sarah. You're a whale, steady and deep. Keep swimming. Clara's center's worth it. Her faith steadies me, a reminder I'm not alone. A brighter moment comes at our first community workshop, held in the lodge's revamped sunroom. Teens from Portland's underserved neighborhoods crowd the space, their eyes wide as they code their first apps on donated laptops. I move among them, answering questions, their energy a spark that lights my soul. One girl, shy but sharp, shows me her game, a beach cleanup sim. My mom's a cleaner, she says. This is for her. I choke up, seeing my mom in her, the librarian who gave kids like this a chance. Esther, the lodge's caretaker, watches from the door, her smile soft. Miss Clara's beaming somewhere, she says later, handing me tea. You're her heart, Sarah. Her words mend something in me, a crack from years of being unseen. But Paul's next move hits hard. He proposes a family audit of my trust's assets, claiming transparency concerns, a clear bid to expose weaknesses. At a tense video call, Evan smirks. We'll see how solid your empire is, Sarah. Olivia Grant chimes in, her tone faux kind. If you're struggling, we can buy the office park. Name your price. I laugh, voice clear. Struggling? My park's outperforming your portfolios. Check the tenant surveys. 90% approval. The audit's a bluff and Ms. Harper's ready with reams of proof. I end the call, heart racing but sure, Clara's lessons my shield. They want to fight, but I'm fighting for more than power. I'm fighting for purpose, for kids like that coder, for Clara's dream. As autumn deepens, the lodge's transformation gains momentum. Local papers cover our workshops, calling Clara's Vision Center a game changer for Portland's youth. A tech CEO offers to fund our next phase, moved by our mission. Yet my family's resistance persists, a low hum of doubt. At a rare dinner, Cole tries charm, suggesting I sell the lodge's back acreage for condos. A compromise, he calls it. I decline, my voice steady. No compromises, Cole. This lodge is whole, like Clara's vision. He backs off, but his eyes hold a grudge. Paul's quieter now, his moves subtler, but I sense him plotting, waiting for a slip. I won't give him one. In Clara's garden, now a teaching space for green tech, I sit under twilight, the roses aglow with solar lights. The fight's exhausting, but the center's growth, the kids' sparks, and Mia's faith, they fuel me. I touch Clara's necklace, whispering, "We're doing it, Clara. Your legacy is alive." The ocean answers, its rhythm a vow that I'm on the right path. My family's still a puzzle, some doors closed, others cracking open. But I'm finding peace in my truth. I'm Sarah Mitchell, not their poor cousin, not their pawn, but a builder of something lasting. The road's long, but I'm walking it. Clara's light my guide. A golden spring evening bathes the lodge in a warm glow, the ocean's rhythm a soft heartbeat beyond the cliffs. I'm Sarah Mitchell, standing in the heart of Clara's Vision Center, once my great-aunt's coastal haven, now a thriving hub for tech education and green energy. It's been 18 months since I upended my family's world, revealing my $78 million empire, my ownership of the tech office park, and my veto power through Clara's Vision Trust to save this lodge from a resort's fate. The journey since, building this center, weathering family storms, finding my truth, has been a crucible. But tonight, as I watch teens code apps in our sunlit lab, I feel a peace I've earned. They once called me poor, a shadow in their gilded lives. Now, I'm a beacon, carrying Clara's torch. Her voice hums in the salt air. Shine, Sarah. Wealth is what you share, not what you seize. This is my story's end, and it's only the beginning. The lodge pulses with purpose, its cedar walls alive with laughter and learning. The ballroom, once a stage for family boasts, now hosts coding boot camps. Its screens aglow with student projects. The library, Clara's old refuge, runs sustainability seminars, its shelves brimming with tech manuals and green design books. The gardens, vibrant with wild roses, power our workshops with solar panels, a nod to Clara's love for harmony. Last month, we graduated our first cohort, 50 local youth, many from neighborhoods like my mom's childhood, now armed with tech skills and job offers. At the ceremony, a boy named Javier, eyes fierce with pride, showed me his app, a tool for tracking urban green spaces. For my sister, he said, so she grows up with trees. I saw my parents in him, their quiet fight for better, and fought tears as I hugged him. This is why I'm here. Clara's Vision Center's a Portland star, its impact rippling far. Tech firms sponsor our programs, inspired by our mission. A national education fund just pledged $1 million to expand our model, calling us a blueprint for equity. The lodge, once nearly razed for condos, stands as a symbol of what wealth can do when it serves, not struts. I still manage my empire. The office park's value has climbed 20%, its green upgrades a model for sustainability. But the center's my soul. I live in my Pearl District studio, drive my old Subaru, not from need but choice, and am free from the flash my cousins chase. Clara's necklace, silver and steady, reminds me daily, I'm enough as I am, building what matters. My family's path since that meeting has been a jagged one. Uncle Paul, once my fiercest foe, has softened, his pride bruised but adapting. Last fall he visited the center, his first time since our clash. He walked the labs, silent, then said, "Clara would have loved this, Sarah." His voice held no agenda, a rare truth. We've since met for coffee, not as allies but as kin, tracing a fragile bridge. He stepped back from shareholder plots, leaving my trust untouched, a quiet nod to my strength. Evan's another story. His legal jabs fizzled, Ms. Harper's defenses were ironclad, but his resentment festered. At a recent family dinner, he avoided my gaze, his silence louder than his old taunts. I let him be, knowing some wounds don't heal. Olivia Grant's flipped to flattery, her emails brimming with partnership pitches, joint ventures, gala invites. I see her game, her hunger for my wealth, and keep her at arm's length, polite but firm. Mia's my rock, her nonprofit now a sister to my center. We co-host workshops, her warmth a mirror of Clara's heart. Last week over wine in my studio, she laughed, "You've turned their world upside down, Sarah, and made it better." Her faith, unwavering since my darkest days, binds us like sisters. Diane's tried mending fences. Her country club lunches are a stage for mentorship offers, but her old condescension lingers, a shadow I sidestep. Cole's thawed slightly. His condo boasts quieter now, At our last gathering, he asked about my solar tech, genuine for once. I answered, planting a seed, hoping for growth. Esther, the lodge's caretaker, remains my anchor. She brings me tea during late nights, her eyes soft. "Miss Clara's dancing up there," she says, "seeing you shine." Her words heal scars my family left, a balm for years of being unseen. The hardest battles are within. Their old label, poor, failing, still echoes in quiet moments, a ghost I'm learning to silence. I've carried their judgment too long, even after proving them wrong. Therapy, a new step, helps me unravel that weight, teaching me my worth isn't their applause but my truth. Clara's journals, now in my office, still guide me. "Wealth is freedom to be you," she wrote. I'm finding that freedom step by step in the kids I teach, the lodge I've saved, and the life I've chosen. My office park, a silent giant, funds this work, its contract, shown that fateful day, a turning point that broke their narrative and built mine. I'm no longer the cousin they pitied, but I'm not their rival either. I'm Sarah, whole and true, Clara's heir in spirit. Tonight's our first community gala, the lodge aglow with string lights, tables set under the stars. Hundreds gather, students, sponsors, and locals, celebrating our year of impact. I wear a simple emerald dress, Clara's necklace my only jewel, and move through the crowd, their warmth a stark contrast to my family's old chill. Javier's here, his sister beaming as he demos his app. A tech CEO pulls me aside, offering to mentor our grads, moved by their fire. Mia introduces me to a city councilor, eager to fund our next lab. As I take the stage, the ocean's pulse behind me, I feel Clara's hand on my shoulder. "Thank you for being here," I say, voice clear. Clara's Vision Center isn't just a place. It's a promise to give every kid a shot, to build a world where purpose outshines profit. The crowd cheers, their faces a tapestry of hope, and I know I've done her proud. After, I walk the cliffs alone, the gala's hum fading behind. The stars blaze, each a spark of Clara's light. I touch her necklace, whispering, "We made it, Clara. Your lodge, your heart, it's alive, changing lives." The wind answers, carrying my gratitude to the sea. My family's still a mosaic, some pieces fit, others sharp. But I've found my place, not in their approval but in my truth. Paul's respect, Mia's love, and Esther's faith, they're enough. Evan's grudge, Olivia Grant's schemes, their noise I've learned to tune out. I've built more than wealth, a legacy of impact, a life of meaning, and a freedom to be me. Reflecting on that meeting, when I showed the office park contract and broke their poor label, I see it as my pivot, not my peak. It freed me to build this center to honor my parents' quiet fight and Clara's bold vision. I still drive my Subaru and live simply because flash was never my goal. My empire's a tool, not a trophy, powering dreams for kids like Javier, for communities like mine. If you've ever been underestimated or told you're less, know this. Your truth is your strength. Build it, guard it, and share it when you're ready. I did, and it's changed everything. As I stand here, the lodge glowing behind me, I'm at peace. Clara's Vision Center will grow, touching lives far beyond these cliffs. My family will evolve, some joining me, others fading. But I'm whole, my path clear, my heart full. I'm Sarah Mitchell, no longer their shadow, but a light of my own, burning bright for Clara, for me, for all who dare to dream beyond the labels others give. The ocean sings below, a vow that this is my legacy, my triumph, my home.